I'm also now going to go across to Anshul for more details. Anshul, we've been speaking with the mother. Shreya was in conversation with her. You tell us a little more about who the accused in this case is. What about his father? If this is a case of juvenile reckless driving, then should the parents not be held accountable as well? What are the details you have with you at this point in time, Anshul?
Oh, well, yes, the Delhi police have started an investigation into this entire matter. Initially, in the FIR, it was very clearly written that the age of the offending or the driver of the offending vehicle was around 19 years. But eventually, the lawyers and the family provided some documents, that is the MCD certificate and other Aadhaar related documents that made sure that his age was 17 years old, and hence he will be tried as a juvenile. Now, since he was a juvenile, he was taken in front of the Juvenile Justice Board, where he was granted the bail on pretext of his board exams that is supposed to start from today itself, that is 17th of February. But under the Motor Vehicle Act, it is mandatory for the police to also take action against the parents of such juvenile. And keeping that in mind, the Delhi police eventually went ahead and detained the father of the accused as well. But since the sections that were imposed in the FIR, all of those sections were actually bailable offences, and hence he was let out on bail. Now, Delhi police says that they will file charges against the father of the said accused in the charge sheet that will eventually be filed within the next month or so. Now, the evidences that the Delhi police has been able to gather at this point in time, these evidences are actually the CCTV footage from the location, which substantiate the fact that the vehicle was actually moving at a very high speed and was being driven in a reckless and careless manner. Apart from that, the Delhi police has also been able to establish that it was the 17-year-old boy who was driving that vehicle. The eyewitnesses who were present on the spot, they saw him behind the wheel, which very clearly elaborates the fact that he was the person who was driving that offending vehicle. But there is very little action that the Delhi police can now take at this point in time, since the accused has been granted bail. Both the father and son have been granted bail in this entire matter. Any sort of punitive action that would be taken by the Delhi police would only be taken after the orders from the court now. So yes, the ball is in the court of the Delhi police at this point in time. It is in their hand to finish this investigation at the earliest, to file the charge sheet and make sure that the trial starts at the earliest, so that the ailing mother who is now demanding justice, who is now crying out for justice, the system can ensure that justice is granted to her. But the larger question that still remains is the loopholes in the system, that how 16, 17-year-old boys who are allowed to drive freely by their parents are involved in such accidents, and even after that they are allowed to scoot free just because they have not reached the legal adult age of 18. So this is something that needs to be looked into by the system, because this massive loophole is actually making sure that justice that should be given to the people who are involved in such cases, the victims of such cases, that could be given to them. But in this case as well, any sort of a justice or any sort of a punishment that would be given to the accused father and son duo would only happen after the court hears the entire matter and then gives out an order regarding this entire accident.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that for the moment. Anshul, do continue to be with us. We will be coming back to you for more on that story, but here are more details on how a reel and the obsession with making reels has led to a real death here. The teen's reckless joyride without license. The accused. Also, the revelation that the teen was overspeeding for an Instagram reel, allegedly performed stunts for reels, killed the youth, grievously injured the cabbie as well. In the Delhi hit and run shocker, the Scorpio driver is believed to be a 17-year-old juvenile. The driver without a valid license, 13 pending challans on the Scorpio that is behind this accident, several challans for overspeeding. Accused granted bail by the Juvenile Justice Board. A single mother is pleading, crying for justice. Scorpio was speeding, making reels. The Scorpio was performing stunts, says the mother. SUV didn't apply brake post-crash. SUV hit a roadside parked car after hitting the bike. The minor Scorpio driver didn't have a license, is what the mother of the deceased is now saying. Anshul, in fact, continues to be with us. Anshul, I want to ask you about the other charge the mother has made about the fact that the body lay there on the road with nobody, in fact, to help him. The ambulance came in late. What are you picking up on that front, Anshul?
Well, yes, I spoke to the eyewitness on ground as well, and in fact, she claimed that the police reached after a very, very long time, and the body was lying over there. But if you look at the postmortem report that has, or the autopsy report that has been accessed over here at India Today, in that autopsy report, it has very clearly been stated that there were hemorrhages that were found in the cerebral portion, which means that he had injuries in his head, and it is predicted that the death of the victim happened just minutes after the accident had happened. Now, if you look at that, how this entire incident actually unfolded, basically the victim was actually standing on the side of the road on his bike where he was speaking on a phone, is what an eyewitness claims. And it is at that point that this offending Scorpio vehicle came at a very, very high speed, stuck him, dragged him for 50 to 70 meters, and then eventually went ahead and came to a halt after it struck another taxi that was standing on the side of the road itself. It is at that point that people who were in the nearby area actually gathered at this spot, because remember, this happened in broad daylight at approximately 11:30 a.m. in the morning itself. This entire incident had happened, and this was in front of a college on a working day as well. So yes, people gathered over there, and then they eventually made sure that the accused offender is not allowed to escape in any way or any manner, and it is at that point that finally the PCR call was made. But yes, it is being claimed by the eyewitnesses as well that the police reached after a very long time, and then eventually the ambulance reached over there, took him to Indira Gandhi Hospital, where he was declared broad dead, and then his body was shifted to Deen Dayal Upadhyay Hospital in the mortuary for postmortem and further legal procedures. But yes, the manner in which the incident has happened and the kind of response that has been shown by the police definitely raises a lot of questions on the laxity that has been shown by the Delhi police, specifically when it comes to registering the FIR. The FIR initially says that the age of the accused was 19 years. Then how did, who wrote that FIR? How did the age that was written on that was actually 19 years? And how
That's right.
suddenly
Anshul, we will
the
continue
age
to
came down to
track that
17 years?
story with you very closely. For the moment, I'm going to, in fact, thank you for joining in with those inputs. That's the story we're not losing sight of. A hit and run case in Delhi has killed a young boy in the national capital.